to me, especially when I do the one-to-one sessions, something usually quite bad has happened. They've been attacked or they've been very, very scared. And the effect that has on people, they're even, they're even scared to go outside the front door, let alone start to go uptown again.
I would imagine that most people who come to you who do self-defence are now trying to do something that they wish they had when they had been in a situation
absolutely
where they could have used those, to quote Liam Neeson, particular set of skills.
Yeah.
But that's when they come to you. So if it happens again, they're not in that spot.
Yeah, I mean, what happens when people are confronted with somebody who's threatening them physically is they freeze. If the brain's got nothing to refer to, it's got no solution. Yeah, they just freeze, and that's what happens to a lot of people. And they come to me, and they're quite angry because I didn't do anything, Steve. I just froze. I didn't do anything, and I have to reassure them that's understandable because you've never been faced with that before. So we need to get you some skills. So if this happens again, I equate self-defense to like driving. If something happens when you're driving, somebody runs out, you just automatically do it. You don't even think about it. And self-defense.
But you've got to have the ability to do that. When you first learn to drive, it's nuts in there. It's trying to get me. I'm going through this with my 17-year-old son, trying to teach him to do a hill start. Yeah, well, I need more than that. Talk about being tipsy, blimey.
Yeah.
But that's it. But then he'll get it, and I will be in a car with him in 10 years from now, and it will be completely different. Yeah. But we all have to start somewhere. Absolutely. Which is interesting because this comes back to this book, doesn't it? Is that these are lessons that you wish you'd had, lessons without a school that you'd had when you were growing up. But of course you have grown up. It's done. You're done.
Yeah,
aren't
absolutely.
you? I mean, you will carry on learning, of course, but those things are done. What would be, let's start with first principles, because it says in my notes that you've been writing all your life. You used to write lyrics for songs, and even released singles in the 1980s.
That's another story.
Well, we'll come to that. but what was that first lesson? What was the starting point?
The first lesson I ever learned is, that's a good question. I'm trying to think of the first lesson I ever learned. I think it was not to let fear dictate my life, but it took me a long time before I started to learn that lesson. I was very fearful as a child, and that's because of the messages that I was given as a child, primarily by my mother, really. She, once my dad left home, I was completely at the mercy of my mother, and I was fed fear stories. Everybody's a risk. Everybody's going to murder you. Everybody's going to kidnap you. It was just
pervert behind every lamppost and murderer in every bush in the park.
Yeah, it was awful. And I've got two daughters myself who are grown up now. And I thought, I am never going to do. You need to be sensible and you need to have awareness. But that fear story, I was in complete fear. So I became very aggressive because I thought...
But that's the only way to handle it, isn't it? You go to the other end of the scale.
Yeah, build this massive wall around you that, that is, don't mess with me kind of thing. And it was awful. I look back now, and it's in the book. I look back and what a way to live, what a way to exist. It was exhausting more than anything. It was just exhausting to be on that red alert constantly.
So you were constantly wandering around like a sort of a young Phil Mitchell, going,
"That's a good way of putting it."
Who wants some? As in, if you fronted it, then they wouldn't come anywhere near you.
Yeah.
Because the way you've been sold the world was that it's out to get you at any available opportunity.
Absolutely.
Someone will do you harm.
And what I've learned is this: look. There are nasty people out there. There are people who will and who will harm you given the chance, who look for any excuse. But you know what? Most people are actually decent, nice people.
Absolutely.
And whatever you put out returns to you. That's one of the lessons I've learned, that, if you're putting out hate and anger, that's what's going to come back to you.
Pay it forward.
Yeah, but if you put out love, understanding, all of that stuff, all the nice stuff, all of that good stuff, that's primarily what's going to come back to you.
But it took you a while to get there.
Absolutely. 40 odd years now.
That's incredibly honest, because you obviously